Hi, I'm Rebecca Lehrer.
I'm Amy Choi, and we are the Mashup Americans. Rebecca, I'd like to take a moment today for Prince.
And if the elevator tries to break you down, go crazy. Punch a higher floor.
Oh, Prince! Our gender-bending, genre-crossing, dance-inspiring, high-heel-wearing hero. You inspired us to be ourselves, always, so thank you.
Excited. Don't know why. Maybe it's 'cause we're all gonna die. When we do, what's it all for? Better live now, before great people come knocking on your door.
Thank you, Prince. Nothing will ever compare to you.
We are going to have dance parties in his honor every single day from now until forever.
Forever. And speaking of dance parties, I want to have a dance party right now because, Rebecca, this is the 15th episode of our podcast.
15! It's our quinceañera!
It's our quinceañera. What are you wearing?
I'm wearing a big dress. I'm going to have lots of people wearing matching outfits. I'm deciding on the color scheme still. But we're going to take a lot of photos together, so get pumped.
I'm going to get you a corsage. It's going to be great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, well, so in 15 episodes, we've had some pretty rad people come on our show, like Margaret Cho,
Padma Lakshmi,
Aminatu So,
Alan Yang,
Ilan Stevan's the world's expert in Spanglish.
Kasia Bryc, our favorite population geneticist.
Oh, our absolute favorite population geneticist.
I know a lot of them, so definitely our favorite one. And we've had some really kind of unforgettable conversations, but they're just some little things we've been holding back from you.
Well, we've been asking all of our guests on the show the mashup speed round of questions like, what's your comfort food?
Rice and beans with a lot of salt and lime all over them. Where do you feel most at home, Amy?
Hawaii, where everybody is Asian and everybody speaks perfect English. And so, these are the kinds of things we want to know about all mashups. And so now, here we bring you...
That's what I call Speed Round 2016!
Pew, pew, pew.
So what's always in your fridge?
Oh, my goodness. Whole milk.
Just drinks, no food. All I ever do is get Postmates.
There's always a ton of tropical fruits. I love having mango or pawpaw in my fridge. And also too much wine.
Always.
French girl through and through.
In my refri, I always have some mole and salsa and some tortillas. But I also have herring.
Ginger, Indian pickles, kimchi now, all kinds of condiments from various corners of the globe, yogurt, plain, and everything. I mean, anything under the sun. My kitchen and my fridge is a wonderland.
What do you spend money on that your parents never would?
So much. I have to remember to take the price tags off things because if I give my mother a nice gift, she's always shocked by how much things cost in 2016.
I come from Mexico, where the idea of giving money away or investing money in worthy causes wasn't part of the landscape. And so I do a lot of that, and I am proud of it.
Yeah, and probably everything. This is the thing that I talk to a lot about, a ton of immigrant friends about. We're at this weird level where, for a lot of us at least, we make more money than our parents, ever did combined, right? And it's when I think about, my dad, sending 3 of his kids to school on the little money that he made, that kind of blows my mind a little. And so for me, it's I always go on a ton of trips. I travel so much for pleasure, and I feel like my parents never got to do that. And also my dad weirdly not into super cultural events. I remember one time taking him to the movies, and he was like, "Oh, I should do this more. The cinema is great," but that's never a thing he would spend money on himself for. And man, what did we go see? Some weird Will Smith movie, and he was so impressed. He was like, "Oh, I should do this more." And I was like, "Yes, Dad, you should. You should."
What is your comfort food?
My comfort food is when I can mix American food and Mexican Jewish food. For instance, on Hanukkah, we eat latkes with mole and applesauce. And I love that mix.
If I am very, 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 very homesick, I will try to locate an African market, and all I want to make is this, like the peanut stew from Guinea and rice. Like that's all I want to eat, and it's always a production because there's so many ingredients that you have to hunt down.
I like instant Jaja man. Do you know what that is?
Yeah. Of course I do.
But I don't like regular Jaja. I like the instant one, which is horrifying.
Legit chicken and sausage gumbo, not this garbage that they sell around here. I went to college out on Long Island, and the cafeteria was run by, I think, one of these Marriott food service corporations, and they served something called gumbo, and it had beans in it and corn and tomatoes. And I thought I was like Martin Luther with my 99 Theses. I just took comment cards and stapled them together and wrote this diatribe. And this was before computers, so it was like handwritten, and would put it up on the comment board. And, that kind of got me into my Ed Anger sort of mode of writing.
My comfort food is khichdi. And it is a rice and lentil porridge that, looks like a thicker congee. Even when I'm really skinny, I have an Asian rice gut because I can't go for more than 2 days without rice.
I can't go more than 2 meals.
No, me neither.
Why? Yeah.
And I'm not Asian.
My trainer years ago tried to put me on the Atkins diet.
Nope.
And it just... I don't know, after about, I would say 3 or 4 hours, I got really, really cranky. And so I can't.
I also have a theory that you eat what you're designed to eat, and you just also look more beautiful.
I totally agree. It's just portion.
You feel better. Yeah.
It's portion control. I totally agree with you.
What did you call your grandmother?
Grandma.
In Fulani, they're called Nene.
I call her Bobe.
But also, I guess, because we spoke French, we always called my dad's mom Meme.
My 2 Bobes and my 2 Zaidas.
I guess I say Ama, which is a Chinese name for her, but this is kind of in the show too. It's like she doesn't speak English and I don't speak Chinese, so when we have phone calls, it is just her talking and me going, right, okay, putting mom back on. And, she's very active on Facebook now. So
Wait, your grandma, Amma is?
So she only posts in Chinese, so I generally have to take a photo and send it to my mom and say, what did grandma post on this thing? And she had posted some I posted a promotional trailer for season 2. It's like, it's coming out whenever. And my grandma had posted about it. It had some Chinese characters or something. And I sent it to my mom, said, what did this say? Because I was like, maybe she's proud, or maybe it has some. And then my mom said, she wrote, Alan went to Harvard and majored in biology, but he didn't want to do that, so he's doing this. No comment on whether it was good or bad. Just a fact. Just a fact.
What is your Bubba Maisa, which is an old wives' tale? So I don't know if you know about Korean fan death.
Korean. I was just going to say Korean fan death is real. And you do not put a fan on you when you're going to sleep because you will just never wake up. And this is a real fear. This is hugely controversial in the Korean community because people are saying, no, that's bullshit. I know it's bullshit. I don't care. It's true.
One of them is that if your shoe is upside down or turned the wrong way, something bad will happen to you. And that's the thing that keeps me awake at night. I always put my shoes the right way.
Wait, Kim, what's the right way? What's the right way?
So it just means, I don't know, it's basically if your shoe is upside down or just when you just come home and kick your shoes off or whatever. Yeah, if they're toppled over, this is bad sign.
She told me about the time she witnessed a beheading right before Mao came in, and how when the head is severed from the body, there's still nerves in the head. So the tongue still moves and the mouth opens and closes after the behead, the dude.
Are we sure that that's not true?
My grandma would tell me these stories when I was 5, by the way. It's Grandma, tell me a fun story.
Chinese grandmas are for real.
Yeah, they don't hold back. Yeah, they've seen some shit, that's why.
What dating advice did you get from your mom?
Oh, Patty, just be yourself, but wear a nice, sexy dress.
None. They still haven't told me where babies come from.
Where do you feel most at home?
I think this sounds so dumb, but being around funny, smart people, and that cast a fairly wide net because it includes my family and my friends.
Man, that's a really hard and tender question for me, because I think that, I don't have a home traditionally like most people have. Like, I never grew up on the same street forever. I don't. So basically, I fail all of those like banking security questions all the time. When they're like, what street did you grow up on? Where's your best friend from? So for me, home is always like where I'm at right now. On Call Your Girlfriend, we always joke with that, like, home is where the Wi-Fi connects automatically.
At my home,
Which is in
Greenpoint.
And you grew up in what we like to consider like the UN, Queens.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that shaped your worldview? Like, how did that influence your music or how you look at the world?
In my neighborhood, it's a complete melting pot, all like Indian kids, like kids from Pakistan, Black, Hispanic, like every race. But I think white people were definitely the minority. And I grew up in also a very heavily Jewish area. So I didn't know that white people couldn't not be Jewish.
I feel you, girl.
When I found out that it was crazy. But
wait, tell us about when you found out that white people weren't all Jewish.
I was old. I was probably like 10 or 11, and I met this blonde girl, and I remember asking her like something about like, so you go to temple? I just like asked her like, because I was so used to it, and she was like, I'm not Jewish. She was really offended.
How many languages do you speak?
5.
Which one do you speak best?
Italian.
I speak like English, and then like a little bit of conversational Mandarin, and then a little bit of French, a little bit of Spanish.
I speak English very well. I speak Polish fluently with a very heavy American accent nowadays.
Yeah.
Which I am deeply mortified about.
Totally.
And I speak a decent bit of French.
So I speak French. I speak English. I speak Fulani, which is my tribal language. I speak Spanish. And really, I think that's and I speak Hausa, which is a Nigerian language. And yeah, like I love that like Americans to me always, like, it always makes me laugh when you're like, what languages do you speak? And they always go, I speak a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And I'm like, oh, so you can say 4 words and all of those. I don't think that you're allowed to say that you speak a language unless you can order like a full meal in them.
Is that your measure? Full meal
Which
ordering?
is like a snobby thing, but it's also, I don't know, for me it's also just like reclaiming the fact that like, so in Africa, for example, people always harp about like how the literacy rate is so low, which is true, like it's true. It's like my grandmothers, for example, none of them know how to read or write. They speak like 9 languages, and I was like, and they like speak them fluently.
Yeah.
And they can navigate around because they come from like trader areas or whatever. And so for me, there's something really important about like, saying like this is a different form of intelligence, and that's something that's really important.
How do you mash up?
Mi nombre es Ilan Stavans. Ich rede Yiddish, ben me da very Brit, and I often use English, pero me gusta mixing die ganze Megille and engage with people at different levels depending on the circumstance, and often me gusta romper fronteras o desafiar and be challenged and challenging with my language.
Love that. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you. And if you couldn't recognize everyone's voices in the speed round, like Padma Lakshmi telling us how her best language is Italian, check out mashupamericans.com. We'll have an answer key to our episode there.
Truth, Italiano. So remember, if you want more Mashup stuff, we've got an awesome weekly newsletter and new articles at our website. The Mashup Americans are me, Rebecca Lehrer.
And me, Amy Choi. Our show is produced by American Public Media and Southern California Public Radio, KPCC. We're also supported in part by an award from the National Endowment for the Arts on the web at arts.gov. Later.
Dance party every day.
Every day.